What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a look at the Oblivion Remaster here on the ROG Ally X. Finally catching up on some of my Ally X videos. And this game has its performance issues for sure if you've been paying attention to any reviews out there, but it's largely been playable on all the handhelds, especially the MSI Claw 8 and the ROG Ally X. So I want to go ahead and finally take a look at performance for this game here on the Ally X and see how we're doing. Now, as far as settings for this game, there are a few things that you can go through and change. We're going to look at resolution. We're at 1080p right now. We're going to look at some of the settings here. We just have things on low at the moment. And then we're going to use FSR and kind of concentrate on that in this video for our upscaler, but there is XeSS if you want to use that. Frame generation's here for FSR 3 as well, but if you want to use that, of course, you do need to be using FSR 3 upscaling. Now, 1080p is not necessarily going to be the way to go no matter what you do with your settings, especially when you get into other areas of the game, but I did just kind of want to start out there. And low's pretty rough. Medium here is much what I prefer, and you could adjust a few individual settings, but over the way the game looks at low and the bugs it has at low in the visuals, I just really don't like it. Now, even here on frame gen though, at 1080p, it is a lot of ghosting and artifacting and jankiness. We have a really low base FPS. So again, I personally would just stay away from 1080p. 900p could be an option if you want to adjust a few more settings, be a little aggressive with the upscaling and that type of thing. 720p on the smaller 7-inch screen is really where I kind of wound up to give me the overhead I wanted in other areas of the game. You could do FSR 3 quality over balanced and lose a few FPS, but gain a little bit on the visual side of things there if you wanted to, which is pretty much what I went with here. If you want to use frame generation at that point, the base FPS is just high enough that it is a bit better than what we were getting before. There's still ghosting, artifacting, and some issues like that. Input latency is fine though, so I know a lot of you guys like to use that. I love frame gen, and in a lot of games I like it, but in this game, I just really don't like how it looks and how it operates over other games. When I turn it off and move around, I just much prefer this at a lower frame rate for this particular game. Maybe something like lossless scaling, locked at 30, giving us 60 might be cleaner. Maybe we'll take a look at that in the future. But yeah, you can switch easily by clicking on the right stick if you're using a controller between your third person modes. There's two of those, zoomed in closer and further out, and then your first person mode. For the most part, I haven't seen any difference throughout my gameplay in performance for those, maybe an FPS or two here or there. But yeah, you could easily switch those and play the game either way. I prefer the third person zoomed out, but sometimes in combat, I really do like to go with the first person. It looks really good in the game and performs pretty well. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to leave it at that. Adjust the settings to your own liking for your resolution, upscaling, frame gen on or off, and the other settings that you want to get into here. But this is pretty much where I wound up. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of gameplay so you can see some more, so you can see some combat in different areas and what the performance looks like this way, and maybe help you judge where you want to go with it. But anyways, guys, as always, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.